In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a fuel pump lock ring on your Chevy Express 2500. This is going to be located on top of the fuel tank. Let's get started. Using a 14mm wrench, we're going to loosen the jam nut for our negative terminal. Remove the bolt for the terminal and push it out of the way. We're going to relieve the pressure in the fuel system. To do this, we're going to go into the engine bay and we're going to remove a relay. And then we're going to go into the car and we're going to get it started. And we're going to let it die out. Once our car dies out, try and crank it 1 or 2 more times and make sure it doesn't start. And this will relieve your fuel pressure. Here you should have an engine cover. Go ahead and remove it. Ours is missing. And then inside of it, we have this fuse right here. We're going to be removing relay number 38 for our fuel pump. Pull that relay out, put it somewhere safe, and now we're going to get in the car and crank it. Open the fuel door. Using a 7mm socket, remove the 3 screws. Using an 8mm socket, loosen the clamp for the filler neck. Slide that clamp back. I'm going to break that hose free and make sure it can wiggle on my filler neck. We have a clip right here. You have to pinch the 2 and push up, and that'll unlock that clip. Remove the hose off of the filler neck. We're going to cut the tape that holds that hose on. Using a 10mm socket, remove the bolt for the ground strap. Remove the bolt. We're going to push our fuel filler neck into the hose farther until we're able to pull it down and clear where it mounts to. Remove the filler neck from the hose. Make sure the clamp stays with it. Using a 7mm socket, we're going to loosen the rear clamp for the filler neck hose extension tube. Get that clamp nice and loose. And we're going to pull the hose off of the tank. Remove the filler neck hose. On the front of the fuel tank, we have our charcoal box, and we have a connector. Pop that red lock tab down, and then we have a tab right here we can push on. Push on that tab, pull straight down, and remove that connector. Pull the harness out of the way. We're going to remove our fuel lines. Pinch those 2 clamps inside of that clip and pull straight back and remove that connection. We have 1 more line in the back there that we need to do. Use a blue fuel line disconnect tool to disconnect the fuel line. Be sure you have a collection bucket under you before you remove this. Fuel will come out. You just have to get that fuel line tool inside of here to push all of those clamps back over the barb on this plastic hose. I'm going to cover that fuel line just with a rag. Tuck it up there. We're going to use a transmission jack, and we're going to support the fuel tank. Just like that. We're going to remove our front tank strap. We're looking up at the bolt. Using a 15mm socket, remove the bolt. Remove the bolt and let the strap fall. Remove the bolt and pull the tank strap down. Here we are on the back side of our tank strap, and to remove this, just lift up and slide it out of the slot. Repeat that same process for the front tank strap. We're going to start to slowly go down with our fuel tank. And while we're doing this, we want to make sure we're checking all of our connections. We don't want any of our harnesses or wires pulling. Make sure the line that went to the fuel filler neck gets put over the frame rail when your tank comes down. We have a harness up here as well that's going to the top of the tank. Be sure there's no tension on that. Keep going down on the tank until you just barely have no tension on this harness. We're going to remove the two connectors off the fuel tank. There's a push button in the back. Push down on this tab and pull straight back and remove that connector. On this connector here, we have a gray lock. We're going to pop that lock back using a small pocket screwdriver. And then there's a tab right in the middle on the top. Push down on that tab, pull straight back. My lock popped off, but push on that tab and pull straight back. If your lock popped off, it's not a big deal. We can just reinstall it. Get it lined back up, just like that. That last connection is nice and loose, so just pull it inside of the frame and continue going down on the tank. We're going to remove our connectors off of our fuel pump assembly. Start with this blue one, push down on the tab and push up and unlock it. There's another tab on bottom, push that up, and you'll be able to pull that whole lock up and remove it. There's going to be fuel in some of these lines. Be sure you have a collection bucket on them. We have one more connection right here. We have to pinch these two tabs in, and that'll unlock it, and we can pull straight back. Pull that down out of the way. We have another lock with those push tabs right there. I'm going to use one pick to push the tab on the bottom. Then I'll use a second to pull up that side. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull straight back and remove that hose. I'm going to take a rag and I'm going to wipe around, getting all of the dirt loose. And use that rag and I'm going to cover all of my ports. We're going to use a blowgun and clean up all of the dirt and dust that's around our fuel pump lock ring and fuel pump assembly. Get the area nice and clean. Using a punch, we're going to remove the lock ring from the fuel pump assembly. We're going to hit it in the direction to unlock it and unlock the fuel pump lock ring. Remove the fuel pump lock ring. Push the fuel pump down into place. Install the fuel pump lock ring. Twist it clockwise so it gets started. And we're going to tap it in the clockwise direction to lock it down. Make sure it goes all the way to the notch. Install the lines. This line went under that one. Make sure you push until you hear a click. Make sure all of your hoses are locked on. Go up on your jack. Once you get it close to those connectors, we're going to pop that hard line back over the frame. Install the connectors on top of the fuel pump assembly. Push until you hear a click. If you don't hear a click, give it a pull. Make sure that's locked on. Do the same thing on the rear connector. Get it installed. Make sure that locking tab is closed. Give it a pull. Make sure it's locked on. Continue going up with your fuel tank. Get the fuel tank installed. Install the tank strap into place. You will have to put this on an angle to get it fully seated into this back part. Get the bolt started by hand and snug it down. Do the same thing in the rear. Install the fuel tank strap. Push it up and around. Get the bolt started by hand. And snug it down. Torque the fuel tank strap bolts to 15 foot-pounds. Do this on the front and the rear. Remove the jack. We're going to install our fuel lines. Sure that clip clips into place. Do the same thing on the rear one. Push it into place until you hear that click. Make sure it's locked on. Grab your connector and install it. Push until you hear a click, give it a pull, make sure it's locked on, and close that locking tab. Install the filler neck soft hose onto the tank. Snug the clamp down. Torque the clamp to 24 inch-pounds. Install the filler neck. Push it up into place. Get your clamp over it. Snug the clamp down. Torque the clamp to 24 inch-pounds. Line up the fuel filler neck bolts and get them started by hand. Line up and install all of the bolts. Get them nice and snug. Close the fuel door. Snug the clamp down for the filler neck. Get the clamp nice and snug. Grab your ground strap and install the bolt through it and install it. Snug the bolt down. Install the line onto the filler neck. And close the clamp. Give it a pull, make sure it's locked on. Install the relay into the fuse panel. Install the negative battery cable. Get the bolt through it. Snug down the bolt and the jam nut. Get it nice and snug, and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.